All right, well, hello everybody and welcome once again to the next installment of the Maximum Performance webinar series. Of course, series started by Maximum Acceleration, the professionals coaching company, and I am Erik, Janeczko, head coach and CEO of Maximum Acceleration, and we developed this series about a year and a half ago to start creating a community of learning and encouraging and providing great training material, resources, and tools to the industry that we so dearly love and are passionate about growing. And so as a result, we're now on our 70th episode today of this series. And of course, there's always the opportunity to participate. We want to make sure we create the best possible audio experience for everybody. So guys, if you would, we find you get the best audio experience by going ahead and clicking on the audio option. If you open up the little plus sign beside the word audio in your control panel on the right-hand side, toggle it up to telephone and then use the dial-in number and access code. The number that you're seeing on your screen is not the right number. Each unique webinar and each unique individual is assigned a separate access code and audio PIN for each platform. Well, today's program we're very excited about, and I'm excited to have back, by popular demand, Mr. Mikel Erdman, who is the founder and CEO of mysmartblog.com, www.mysmartblog.com. And Mikel is, a veteran loan officer, very high-producing originator over his own career in his own right, but about 10 years ago developed a real passion for this whole social media marketing thing. And how to do it the right way, and that's kind of what led to the evolution of Mikel developing his company, mysmartblog.com, which is a great resource and tool for originators as far as how to get into this whole concept of monetizing social media. I mean, I think all of us went out and ran and jumped on the Facebook bandwagon several years ago, and many of us have been very effective at building a huge list of likes and friends for our personal and business pages. But how many of us actually know how to turn that into a profitable and consistent flow of new business? And so, as one of the most requested topics that we as a coaching team are requested or are asked to go over with our coaching clients, I figured it was time that we really started laying out a plan and getting some great information in your hands on how to actually use social media networks like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Google Hangouts, and some of the other social media resources that are out there. How do we use those platforms as a way of connecting with the opportunities through what is a constantly changing, evolving, and rapidly improving landscape? And so that's where Mikel's going to kind of jump in here and take over, and we're going to let him run all the way through until about 10 minutes to the hour, and then we'll take some Q&A at that time. So please make sure you're participating. If you have questions throughout the course of the program, make sure you're using the interactive Q&A section of this webinar platform to ask those questions, and then we'll be off and running. So without further ado, Mikel, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you take it and run with it.
Way and be able to take some strategies that you can implement immediately. I'm going to show you some things that we've been using in our own business very successfully and how you can implement those in your own as well. So what we're doing is, you may have seen me before talking about blogging and content marketing, but we also do a lot of things in online lead generation, and we want to share with you some of those the tips and tricks that we've found to be successful that, again, you can implement in your own business. So today we're going to talk about monetizing social media. This is how to leverage social media to create more leads, deals, and dollars in your business. And the idea that I want to share with you here today is that so much is still going on with social media. A lot of people thought that social media was just going to become a fad and it would just disappear. But the interesting thing is, as this Web 2.0 world has evolved, it's become more and more important, and it's changed over time. But some of the most important places that you can actually connect with customers, potential customers, and be able to develop rapport with them and feed them information is through these online social networks. I always like to start out with this pie chart. It just talks about the things that are going on in the market in the social media world every 60 seconds of every day. And so some of the cool things that you're able to see on this slide that are actually a little bit shocking is there's over 200 million emails sent every 60 seconds of every day. When you think about it, that's still the killer app. It's the one that's most, it has penetrated the most and most people use on a daily basis. But what's also interesting is 571 new websites are created every 60 seconds. One interesting thing, though, is I want to point out Facebook, because Facebook still is the 900-pound gorilla in the social media marketing space. And in Facebook, there are 41,000 Facebook posts every single second of every day, not 60 seconds, but every second of every day. So still a ton of stuff that's going on every day in social media. It's a great place to be able to reach out and target customers and find those perfect customers that you'd like to be able to speak to and attract to your business. One thing I want to get started though right away is I want to share with you a couple of myths about online marketing that you need to be aware of. I think coming into this discussion, you need to understand that there's a lot of people talking about different ways to get leads online and to be able to get your marketing done. And one of the biggest myths that I find in terms of specifically driving online leads is this idea of if you build it, they will come. You might remember that movie Field of Dreams, and build that the baseball diamond, and they will come. And in this case, I put in apply or buy, because dealing with the real estate or mortgage space, so many times what happens is we hear this idea that if you just spend a lot of money and build a beautiful website, or you just put a lot of functionality on your website, you have the ability to search every property in the universe, or you make a 15-step easy-to-use application for your mortgage business, that somehow that's going to generate automatically having deals come into your desk. Or if you spend $10,000 on building this unbelievable, beautiful website, that somehow that's going to work for online lead generation. And the truth of the matter is, it's just not the answer. See, there's a very specific group of steps that have to happen to be able to generate leads online. And generally speaking, in this particular case, when you look at things like just building a really expensive, beautiful website, or even getting to the front page of Google, hey, if you just spend thousands of dollars on search engine optimization and get to the front page of Google and then get people to come to your beautiful site, somehow all of a sudden that's going to generate leads. And what we've come to find out is that's just not accurate. It just doesn't work that way. So again, there's a very specific group of steps that have to be followed in online lead conversion, and I'm going to share those with you today. And I want to blow this out of the water. In truth be told, there are great tools available today that you can do online lead generation and conversion, and you actually don't even necessarily have to have a website. It's not to say that I don't think that you should have one. I do, but my point is that the website itself is not the one thing that's going to be able to help you become successful in creating leads for your business. Second myth that I want to share with you is about social media, because you hear a lot of people in the social media world that do a lot of training, and this has happened over the last couple of years, that talk about, hey, you just have to be social. You have to spend a lot of time there. You have to be able to put a lot of interesting and unique content and engage people. And although that's an important component of it, don't get me wrong here, that adding your own flavor, adding that communication and engagement with people is an important component. It's just not something that automatically is going to generate leads either. In other words, you can't just become active on social media every single day and put a lot of time and energy into building maybe your Facebook fan page and then spending a lot of time putting interesting and engaging content out, and all of a sudden just think that's going to lead to deals on your desk. Because again, there's a lot of steps in between there that have to happen in order to get people moving along the process of actually engaging in the transaction. So it can be a lot of fun. Social media, you can share a lot of great information, but again, lead conversion, generating leads and then converting those leads into actual tangible transactions in your pipeline, there are a series of steps that have to be followed. So I wanted those two things. The first one, again, just spending a lot of money on driving traffic or spending a lot of money on building an online website. And the second thing is spending a lot of time just being social, just for social's sake, are probably not two of the things that you want to avoid in lieu of going after a very specific set of steps that can actually drive traffic for you. So let's go into this. I want to give you a little background about myself. And since I didn't hear Eric, I didn't hear his introduction to me, so if I repeat some of that stuff, I apologize. But I just always like to share. This was my business card back from March 15th, 1995, and that was when I got started in the mortgage industry in Vancouver, Washington, with a company called Mortgage Market. I had no experience in the industry. In fact, I didn't even know what a mortgage was when I got started. The vice president of the company happened to see me in a different sales job and asked me if I was interested because they were expanding at the time. And so I ended up going to work in the mortgage industry, totally green, brand new area, no sphere of influence, and had to figure out very quickly how to create an income that was commission-based with no real marketing plan. And one of the things that I learned a long time ago is my dad told me, he said, Michael, if you ever want to become successful in any business, just go find people who are already successful and then duplicate what they're already doing. See, that's the key. Success leaves clues, and if you just follow those clues, if you look at what people that are successful are already doing and replicate that, you're going to end up getting that same kind of success. And so what I ended up doing was going and talking to one of these gals who was in our office that was extremely successful. Her name was Lori, and I asked her a question when I first got started. I said, Lori, I know absolutely nobody. Just moved to this new city, Vancouver, Washington, from a little tiny town on the southern Oregon coast called Bandon, Oregon. And I said, how is it? What's the best advice you can give me to get started in building a business? She said, the number one thing you have to do, Michael, is you have to build a sphere of influence. You have to build a list of people who know, like, and trust you, who are willing to receive your information on a consistent basis. And back then that was through a newsletter, a mailed newsletter format. She said you have to be able to build trust and credibility over time with those people, and if you do that, that will feed you for the rest of your career. And again, at the time it was a leap of faith. I had to sign up for a contract to send me newsletters every month in the mail, and I had 0 people on my list, so initially I had to take a leap of faith. It's another point in here I want to make in business is sometimes when you want to learn how to do something new, you want to change your business and create some new avenue to get leads, sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. And at this point I had to take a leap of faith and sign up on this contract, have 100 newsletters delivered to my office every single month in a box, and then I have to figure out how to get them out. And initially, I just started handing them out like business cards, but asking people if I could add them to my list. And over time, I started to build that list, started to do some transactions, and then was very diligent about continuing to build that database, build that sphere of influence, and stay in touch with them consistently. And that's what drove my business for 15 years. Very successful mortgage practice, driven by referral, and generated millions of dollars of commissions. So I only tell you that just to let you know that I come from your side of the desk. Everything I'm going to share with you today comes from the point of view of how you actually can drive leads in a relationship-based business. Now, normally if you hear me speak, I talk about referral-based marketing and staying in front of that sphere of influence that you already have and growing that. But today we're going to switch that a little bit, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can actually put a little bit more horsepower in gaining a larger sphere of influence and really leveraging social media, leveraging these tools that are available in technology to be able to go out and actually start to attract more and more people. Think of it like holding a big magnet and attracting people into your business that are the right type of customers. We're going to talk about the perfect client avatar and be able to drag those perfect clients into your marketing funnel, then build trust and credibility over time, and end up converting those people into business or referral partners as much as you would like. It's like turning on a faucet. So the most important thing I want to share with you today that you can have is building a big audience. That's the number one asset that you'll have in your business. Is the people who control the largest audience make the most money. And you can see this over and over again in people like celebrities, the movie stars, musicians. You know, go to rock concerts. The people that fill arenas are always they create the biggest incomes because they control the largest audience. And the audience, the way that we're talking about it today, is simply defined as the number of people that you have who know you, like you, and trust you, and are willing to receive information on a consistent basis that see you, sorry, I just got distracted by a note in the chat box there. But the people who can see you consistently and who are willing they see you as the expert in your field. And so that's really the thing we want to focus on today. Is there are multiple ways to do that. One of those is your own personal communications and networking, but you can use these marketing and advertising tools to start to attract those people who see you as the expert, and then by communicating with them consistently, you drive yourself into that status. And again, the more people you build into that audience, the more successful you can become. The one other point I want to make on audience is that this is an interesting one. You take it down to advertising dollars. The Super Bowl this year in 2014, the price for a 30-second ad on the Super Bowl this year was $4 million. So $4 million to get 30 seconds of time. But the reason it's such valuable time, and the reason companies line up, and it's the same companies every year that line up to buy that space, is because they know the specific demographic that they're going to be speaking to through those ads. In other words, they have a target. They know who they're talking to, and they can tailor the ads specifically for that demographic to get the most response. You're going to use some of those same tools. I'm going to show you today how you can use those very same tools to drive the right information to the right people and generate the right response, and do it easily and inexpensively using social media. So that's what we're going to do over the course of the next little bit of time. Again, the answer that you have to do here is you want to build a bigger list. So let's jump right into it. There's 3 steps to success that you really have to grab a hold of today. Now, I won't be able to go through the details of every single thing that you have to do in order to go through this process in a 40-minute time frame that I have here. But what I will give you is I can promise you this. We'll give you an opportunity to get some additional information and be able to go deeper with this if you like what you hear through the next 40 minutes. But I am going to give you enough so that you can really start to formulate a game plan on how you can go to market and get these same types of leads working for you as well. So the 3 things that you really have to do is, number 1, you have to attract clients. When I talk about attract clients, it goes back to that idea of the magnet. Think about if you could hold a magnet and you could just attract the exact right perfect clients into your business on a consistent basis. And what if it was like this? What if it was like, I talk about, a lot of times the old school, it was hunting. You'd go out and you'd be searching for clients, looking for that one client, one at a time, over and over. It's like a hunting trip. Well, at some point you have to switch, and that's what all these technology tools allow you to do, is switch from hunting, just looking for one client at a time, and you start looking to go fishing. Instead, it's like having a big net, and you put out the net, and you actually just wait for the right people to come by and then capture them in the net. But what's even better than that is, what's even better than having a net to be able to capture the right people is if you could actually get to the point where you have the right people, or the right fish in this case, jumping in the boat. I mean, think about that for a second. If you went out on a fishing trip and the fish just were jumping in the boat, wouldn't that be the ultimate situation? Well, that's exactly what you can have if you use online marketing strategies and lead generation tools, and this is the 3 steps to do it. So you attract the right clients, you learn how to capture them, so that's getting them in the net, how you can capture them, and then convert them over time. There's a process that you use. It's a well-defined, very successful process that you can actually implement in your own business that takes someone who happens to be just caught in the net, they've got some interest, and actually then build trust and credibility over time to get to the point where they're actually calling you. They're actually just jumping in the boat, and then you can turn that on and off, just like the water faucet at your kitchen sink. So pretty cool stuff that we're going to be able to do. So let's jump right into attracting people. So the 3 things, I've talked about some of this a little bit already, but attracting the right people, the first thing you want to do is you want to look for the perfect client. And when we talk about the perfect client, sometimes we use the word avatar. And in your marketing, what you really want to do is, anytime you write marketing, whether it's an offline piece of marketing or it's an online piece of marketing, but anytime you want to do that, you want to craft your marketing as if you're speaking specifically to that one perfect client. Some of the marketers that I learned from even talk about going down to the point where you actually name that client avatar and actually speak directly to the person. So let's just say that we call that perfect client avatar Susie. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that all of our marketing, when we're writing it, we want to make sure that it's speaking directly to Susie. And what happens is that when you start to think about it in developing this perfect client, you have to think about who it is you're trying to attract, but also what are the pains, problems, and challenges that that person is facing. See, the key to marketing is providing solutions. It's answering those pains, answering those problems, and answering those challenges. And if you can help them solve those problems, that's the thing that will allow you to get them to start moving towards jumping in the boat. And what you want to do is look at what are the main benefits that they're looking for as well. What are the benefits they're seeking? So you start to write your marketing by identifying who that perfect client is, what the pain is they're feeling, and then the way that you can actually provide a solution. And that's the way you get started in getting them to be able to listen to you. Now, the other thing is where to market. So when you think about where to market, going back to our fishing analogy, it's like you want to go where the fish are, right? So I always talk about the hardest thing to do in marketing is to get people to change their behavior. See, if you instead, and one of those, just as an illustration, is like when you try to get people to change their behavior, see, trying to get someone to come directly to your website, just initially, as the first way that you get in contact with them, is actually changing their behavior online, because otherwise they wouldn't have come there. They wouldn't have chosen to be there. But the flip side of that, the same reason as the Super Bowl commercial works, the flip side of that is you can start to place your marketing in areas where your core customers, those perfect clients, are already hanging out. So you don't have to change their behavior, you just become available where they already choose to put their eyeballs. It's a much easier process to start there. And again, if you start there and then you provide them information that solves their pains and solves their challenges, that's the type of thing that creates interest. And that interest is when they click and then they come to your website and find out a little bit more detail of how you can solve their problem. See, so that's a real key thing, is where do you go to market. Now, in terms of our conversation today, it's social media. People are self-identifying with what they're interested in based on all of the things they like, share, and comment on, the groups they join, things that they share. You can search things like Twitter. You can actually search for specific terms on Twitter, and it'll give you a list of everyone who's tweeted anything about that term. And so there's lots of ways to identify people based on the conversations that they're having out in the marketplace. And the easiest way to do that, and where people are sharing that information, is in social media. So what we're going to do is I'm going to focus on Facebook. Again, too much to go into all the different social networks in one sitting. We're going to focus on Facebook because it really is the 900-pound gorilla. and it is the best business-to-consumer marketing channel that's available with the most cost-effective lead platform and advertising platform as well. So that's another key thing you want to do in attraction is you have to find out where do you want to market to your people. The last thing is you have to develop a lead magnet. This is probably the single most important thing that I see people making the mistake of, the biggest mistake that people have is they don't actually understand that getting people to convert in the online lead generation process requires baby steps. See, if you think that you can get someone right to your website, and even if you have great, like in real estate, property search functionality, because 95% of all people going to the internet related to real estate are looking for properties, still over 70% of those people choose the real estate agent they use based on referral. So the key is, if you think that they're going to actually pick up the phone and call you because you've provided good search functionality, it's too big of a confidence leap to get them to make without taking some baby steps in the interim. So developing what's called a lead magnet, it's something that has to be free. It has to be something that's related to that client's pains or the questions. Another good quote that I had from one of the marketing gurus that I followed named Robert Collier. He said you have to enter into the conversation that the client is already having in their mind. See, if you can actually provide a lead magnet that actually shares information of the conversation that the question they already have in their mind, and they see that as the answer, that's the first step of getting engagement and getting that moving forward, and then you're going to be able to then move them on to the next steps. So let me show you a couple of examples of these types of lead magnets. This one of them I just pulled off the internet. It's produced by Guaranteed Rate. They have a lead magnet called Demystifying the Mortgage Process. And so it's just a free, it's like a report, like an ebook that goes through and they answer this 6-step guide to navigating life's biggest purchase. Now, this is great. People put these types of ebooks out there all the time, and you can see these. You can use them as reference points to be able to develop something. But here's the key. It doesn't have to be this long. You don't have to write a 100-page ebook. It could be as simple as a 10-point checklist of the most important questions people need to ask about. Insert your idea here, right? Whatever it is, just something that has to be free and it has to answer the question that people are asking. These are a couple of others. This is Reverse Mortgages 101. It just talks about, the 7 most important things you must know about reverse mortgages and how they save your family thousands of dollars. So just a simple ebook and with a cool-looking 3D, book cover, which, by the way, you can get done for $5 at Fiverr.com if you want to go. That's Fiverr.com. These types of 3D book images you can get done, and it's only $5, so it's a pretty cheap way to get that done. And then the one on the right is ours. We use this all the time, our Blogging 101 ebook, and so I'm going to show you exactly how we use that in our marketing. But it's just when you basically are going to share with people information and ideas about how they can improve their business or improve their life, improve their finances, and that's what gets them to opt in and start asking for information. So you have to have a lead magnet to attract people. Here's the way we do it on our website. So this is just an image of our site that you can see on the very front page, and this is key in your marketing. When you do have a website, on the front page in a very prominent position, you want to have an opt-in form for your lead magnet. So in our case, it's right on the front page under the slideshow. We have this free ebook. You click on it, and it goes right into an opt-in form, and people can download that ebook for free and get a lot of information about content marketing and blogging and how it can generate more repeat business and referrals. But you just want a prominent position on your website where people can get to that lead magnet right away, and then you want to start using that lead magnet in all of your different marketing. So another thing that I want to share with you here is that the first thing, I'm going to go through 3 very specific strategies that you can use to be able to drive traffic online. The first strategy I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you in detail, is ad campaigns. I'm going to show you specifically Facebook ad campaigns. The reason I'm going to show you this is, again, this is the least expensive way to be able to drive traffic today and get very, very targeted results. Here's interesting. The study just came out actually like 2 days ago, and that came out and it showed, talking about social media, I'm always looking at these different studies, but that right now out of the 1.2 billion active Facebook accounts, and that's with a B, 1.2 billion active Facebook accounts globally, 64% of those account holders log in at least once a day. That is a crazy statistic when you think about it, but honestly, a lot of people do. They have it on their phone. Mobile's huge, and so people just log in and check out what's going on, or they get a notification. They want to see what maybe someone tagged them in or something like that. So anyway, there's a lot of penetration, a lot of people using Facebook, and that's why we're going to go through a Facebook ad campaign. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So ad campaigns are pretty easy. You just go into your Facebook account and you actually go into the little gear up in the right-hand corner, up in the screen at the top right. You'll see this little gear icon. You click on it, and you can just basically click a button to start placing an ad. And what it's going to do is it's going to actually go through and ask you what different types of ads you want to run. And so there's different goals for the ads. The top three that I have in the red box are really the only ones that you need to pay attention to getting started. And so I'm going to explain those quickly. The top one is called page post engagement, and that simply is if you put a post on your Facebook business page, for instance, and you actually wanted to run an ad that was going to go on for a period of time, and it can go on for a very short period of time, or you could just have an ongoing ad, but you just wanted that particular post to be run as an ad on a consistent basis, then you would click page post engagement, and it'll ask you through this wizard what post you want to promote, and then you can just run an ad consistently with that post, and it'll show up in people's news feeds. The other one is page likes. That's kind of like if you just want to grow your fan page. People ask me all the time, well, Michael, how do I get page likes? Let me give you one word of warning. One way that some people would say get page likes is go buy them. You can go again to Fiverr and get them to put 1,000 page likes. It's absolutely the wrong strategy that you want to do for your business. Number one reason is that Facebook's algorithm looks at that and it says, hey, if you've got 1,000 likes on your Facebook page, but you're a U.S.-based business or a U.S.-based customer, and all of your likes are coming from Bangladesh, then that's clearly not. Those aren't the type of likes that make sense. It's not relevant to your page, and therefore they start to block it, and they won't show content from your page to the people who actually are the organic ones. It's the idea of there used to be this idea floating around that, hey, if you get, and by the way, I'm a disclaimer here. I actually, when I first got involved in social media marketing 3 years ago, I went to an event, and there was guys that were selling the service, and I thought that was a best practice. So this stuff evolves and changes. I've learned that actually is something that can hurt you. In fact, in our situation, we bought some likes for our page initially when we first launched it. I actually relaunched a new business page 3 months ago to start from ground zero for that very reason, because we had purchased likes on a page that when we first started, and it wouldn't give us the best results. So we started over. But the bottom line is this: you can run an ad to get page likes, and that simply is something like, for us, we run one of our pages with a $3 a day campaign. It just goes forever. It's just constantly going on $3 a day, and it's constantly just generating more and more page likes to get a very consistent increase, and it's always going out. The way you can target it is to people who have already liked our page and their friends. So those people naturally are going to attract, via kind of the online viral referral, the ability to find the right type of people to like our page. The last one is called clicks to website, and that's one if you have a landing page that you want to actually have people go to, then you can actually run an ad that when someone clicks the link, it will take them to a landing page, and that could be either a landing page within Facebook or a landing page outside of Facebook, and I'm going to explain both of those in this webinar as well. So here I'm going to go through the page likes idea. In this particular case, if you just want to run page likes, you would enter your page. So again, you click on the page likes button, enter your page URL in that spot there, and then you go through and actually are able to add the next step. And this is on one screen. I just had to, for the purposes of the PowerPoint, I had to break it down into multiple screenshots. But this next step is important. It's where you can actually put in multiple images. You may have heard in the past about A/B testing, they call it, or split testing, and it's something that people that run ads get it can become very, very technical, where you split test unique and individual things. Well, one of the cool things that Facebook did recently, it wasn't too long ago, they rolled out this new interface that allows you to actually upload 6 different images to the same exact ad, and then they actually run the split tests for you. And they'll do it both in the newsfeed ads as well as the ones that show up in the right sidebar. So it'll actually split test, and it'll tell you based on, as they're running the ads to your targeted demographic, it'll actually tell you which one is the most effective. And I'm going to show you how that works here in a second, but just know that you can upload your images, and it does give you the best size, so you do want to upload them at that size, 600 pixels by 225. The reason being is that's going to show up the best in the news feed, so it doesn't get thumbnailed in the news feed. You want that big, nice, big image for your ad to run. So anyway, you can upload those 6 images. So here's where we're going to have a little fun. I'm going to ask you in the chat box, if everybody can hear me, and if in the chat box, I've got a little game here. And this is an ad that we actually ran just in just the last over the last week and a half as we're promoting a webinar. And so these 6 images all had the same exact headline and the same exact copy, ad copy. talking about this webinar. This free webinar tells all is what the headline was, and it talks about, on the sidebar, it just talks about generating leads online. So what I want you to do is look at this screen, and out of these that are listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 6 images, I want you to put in the chat box what you think the #1 ad image was that drew the most clicks to our website. Which of those 6 ads that you see on the screen? Just enter it in the chat box. 3 and 4. 3 and 4 on a free webinar. That's interesting. Good, good. Yeah, you know what's fun? Different. So here's what the statistics, here's what really happened. If you guys are guessing 3 and 4, these are the actual numbers right here that you see on your screen. So 3 and 4 were actually pretty good performers comparatively, but the number one is Christina's Got It, that 137. And the point I want to make with you here is that we wouldn't know this information if it wasn't available to be split tested, and this is exactly what Facebook actually does as part of the advertising setup. It's just through their wizard. It makes it very easy to find this out. And what's really cool is you can then focus your advertising dollars only on the one that gets the most response. And when you look at that, it's 10 times more clicks than the second one, which was number 3. So those of you that guessed number 3, great job. But it's 10 times more response of that one ad than it is on the second ad, which is this number 3 at the bottom left. And here's what's really interesting about this. What's interesting is that these are the size of the ads that go into the news feed, but then the sidebar, you see those right sidebar ads? What's interesting is that some of them, for instance, the Christina's Got It right sidebar ad, because they run each one of the 6 in both as a newsfeed ad and as a right sidebar ad, and they test them all. So there's actually 12 variations. The Christina's Got It right sidebar ad got 0 clicks. So interestingly enough, in the newsfeed, that image that comes through gets clicked a lot when it's the big newsfeed ad, but on the right sidebar, that image doesn't work at all. And the one on the bottom left, the number 3, actually worked in both instances about equally. But even so, we still got 10 times more clicks through the newsfeed ad on the Christina's Got It. And here's what that looks like from a lead generation perspective. I'm going to take you right into my panel, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I know the writing's a little bit small on the screen, but I just wanted to show you these are all of the variations. So this is just one ad, but all of the variations. And then I was able to sort by the results. So these are the numbers where I just showed you on the screen. And then it goes through and shows your cost per click. Let me grab, I'm going to grab the tool here, this highlighter, because I want to show you each one of these. So here's the 137 that's on the screen. This is the reach. They automatically promoted it to almost 10,000 people, a lot more people. But here, and the cost per click, only 61 cents per click in order to, so real quickly, guys, just want to make sure, so now that you're seeing this, this is the list of all of the ads that are actually in the Facebook account on this one advertisement that we're running. And this is where you see the 137. That was that Christina ad. 61 cents per click. Now, I want to illustrate to you the difference. A lot of times you hear about running Google AdWords. Google AdWords has become more and more expensive. A lot of marketing, you can do some research about this. A lot of marketers are talking about this. But you can, especially in very popular keywords, very expensive keywords like mortgage and real estate, that you're fighting with national advertisers to be able to get traffic. Those can sometimes run $8 to $10 per click. That's not someone that's interested. That's not an opt-in. That's just getting a click to your site, and it could be a competitor that's clicking. $8 to $10 each time. Well, we're running these ads at 61 cents a click. Our average cost is 66 cents over this entire campaign per click to get people through to go to a landing page about this webinar. And then let me show you the results, and hopefully the screen changes. So you should be seeing my GoToWebinar registration screen for this webinar about new rules of marketing. And if you're seeing that, then you basically would see that there's 91 people registered in about a little less than 2 weeks period of time for less than $200 in advertising. So almost, actually this morning it was 99 people registered. So almost 100 people registered into a webinar that are very specific targeted clients off of a $200 advertising campaign that was very specifically targeted and split tested through Facebook's own interface. So pretty cool stuff. The next thing I want to do is let's jump back in. I'm going to just share with you the last parts is writing copy. I'm not going to go into a lot of copy. I'm going to tell you that we'll be talking about a course coming up here at the end that we're going to go in depth in how to write copy to be able to attract the right type of customers. My point is this: 75% of the value of your ad is in the headline. Writing compelling headlines is going to make all of the difference in every ad that you write, but that's also important in Facebook. The second thing is the text that goes along with the ad becomes important as well. That's got to be able to illustrate that pain that people are feeling and then point to the solution. And then, of course, those images, the images are an anomaly. That's why you want to test them, because you don't know why one thing will work better than the other. You just have to test a few and find out what the best one is. The other thing that you want to do here is you build your custom audience. Again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time here because we just don't have time to go into the details, but this is where you dial in and can get to the very specific audience that you want to be able to present to. So if you're in Illinois and you want to advertise only to people in Illinois, and you want to advertise only to Chicago Bulls fans, for instance, and you only want to advertise to people who are between the ages of 30 and 55, and you want to run an ad that has an image of something like cram down your interest rates, and it has an image that has to do with, the Chicago Bulls or some other, some other ad, and you can run it specifically to speak to those individual customers. All of those demographics, all of those pieces can actually be, you can set up right here, because all you do is you would put in Illinois, your age demographics, you would, in the interest box, you would type in Chicago Bulls, and that would give you the total audience. And the key is you want to get an audience for your ads between 50,000 and 100,000 people is the sweet spot to get the lowest cost and the most targeted approach, 50,000 and 100,000. So that's all I'll do on that for the moment. And then the last thing is you want to go through and do your bidding and pricing. Some people would say you want to put your own bidding in. I'm going to tell you that I think you should just go with bid. If you're going to looking for page likes, just do the bid for page likes to start with Facebook. They consistently try to drive down the cost and make it inexpensive. And if you're willing to, to work with that, they're going to illustrate to you what's the most effective, and then just turn off the things that aren't working, like the parts of the ad that don't work, and don't have them run them there. But they're actually really good about optimizing it themselves to make those ads run. It's much simpler than having to go through the bidding on your own. So, so let me go ahead and jump through. The other thing I'm going to talk to you about briefly is capture pages. So this is the second part is we talked about attracting. Second part is capturing. In order to capture contacts, you have to have some specific tools in place. You have to have a landing page. That's not necessarily a website, although it can be on your website, but you can also have landing pages that aren't on your website. You can have a landing page right in Facebook, a Facebook custom tab, which is I'm going to share with you in a minute. The other thing you have to have is an opt-in form. There are tools out there, easy-to-use tools for opt-in forms, and so I'm going to give you some resource links for those. And then you have to have a call to action. That call to action is what gets people to move forward. So you can see this is a landing page. This one's actually hosted within Facebook. It's for our Blogging 101 ebook, and it's basically like a web page, but it's actually in a custom tab, and so we can drive ads directly to this. Now, one tip is if you drive your ads, if you drive them to a Facebook tab rather than outside of Facebook, they're actually cheaper, because Facebook's goal is to keep that traffic within Facebook, and so they actually give you better rates on ads if you drive people to an opt-in page on your Facebook business page. But you can see that the copy is in there for what people get. The call to action is I just put CTA next to it, and it just shows get free access to this Blogging 101 ebook. And then the opt-in form itself is where people put their name and their email address. And you want to keep that as limited as possible, even to the degree the most recent information talks about if you can get by and are willing to get started with just an email address, it's the lowest barrier of entry, and it will get you the most opt-ins if you just start with an email address and start dripping on people. The third strategy I want to share with you today is custom tabs. I was just mentioning it. So there's lots of cool tools that can automatically build custom tabs into your Facebook business page, so you don't have to go spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to have a custom tab built. You can actually do it pretty simply with some real cool tools. Here's how they look. This is our business page, and again, I told you I restarted our business page back in December because of that issue. From December to today, we've got 1,212 organic likes just running these same strategies that I've been telling you about to be able to get people liking our page and at the same time driving traffic for webinars and those types of things. So it's possible to do if you just run these very simple, inexpensive campaigns. What you're seeing is the tabs. Tabs or those images, the way you see free ebook with the red around it, that's the tab that actually leads to the opt-in, to a second type of opt-in form. This is one I wanted to explain to you for our Blogging 101 ebook, but what I want to explain to you is you can have that go with this software directly to what we call a like gate. So in order for people to get access to it, they have to like your page. So that drives up your likes by offering something of value, again, that answers their problem or answers their question, provides that solution. They like your page in the process, and remember this, when they like your page, it's like they've opted in to be able to get information, at least through their Facebook, so that on their newsfeed now, if they've opted in and liked your page, your newsfeed information has the opportunity to show, your updates have an opportunity to show up in their newsfeed. It's just like them subscribing when they like your page, so it's another avenue to reach people. Once they like the page, it goes right into the actual landing page itself, so it has that, the headline and the content. This is the top half. This is the bottom half that you see on your screen right now, and with that call to action button, claim your free ebook. Cool thing about if you do it within Facebook is when people claim that free ebook, it automatically can tie in with your CRM system, and it will automatically put their Facebook registered email and their contact information, name, first name, last name, email address, and date of birth, if they provided it, into your database automatically without them actually typing it in, because they authorize it right through Facebook by using the Facebook app. Now again, these are tools that are available to you in these specific software products that can make all this happen, and it's pretty automatic and easy to do. If you spent about an hour putting this together yourself, you could launch it, publish it to your page, and it would all be working. So pretty cool stuff. The second tab, I just wanted to show you that other one, the green one, is another one that's a different call to action, but it actually gives away our free ebook as well. So all we're really trying to do is get people to get this ebook, and that's, again, that same one I already showed you, the opt-in page there. So the last part is conversion. Conversion really has to do with what we call your follow-up sequence or follow-up series. That's handled through an autoresponder. There's lots of tools that do autoresponder series. You might have that if you have Top Producer or some other CRM system that works. They may not offer autoresponders. You can also use things, other tools out there like Aweber, GetResponse, MailChimp, lots of other services that you can use for that. But the key with a follow-up series is once they've opted in for your free giveaway, your lead magnet, you want to send them a sequence of emails, usually at least 3 to 5 emails over the course of the next week to 2 weeks that also continue to build trust. They add value, they answer questions, and then give an offer to help. That offer to help is once they start seeing you as an expert, it's not a sales pitch, it's just an offer. Hey, if you'd like more information like I've already been giving you, then please feel free to email me back or fill out a form on our website, or maybe go over and get this additional piece of information, which leads them to another lead magnet, drops them into another follow-up sequence, and then gets them to know, like, and trust you a little bit more. So that's kind of the idea with that. The other third strategy, I want to make sure we get the third strategy in, is list building. List building, you can't forget. Once you have the tools in place, the landing pages, opt-in forms, your lead magnets, all that kind of stuff, you want to build a list everywhere you can. So that includes advertising in places like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+. If you have a YouTube channel, it's a great place. You can put links right to your lead magnets in the description of your videos. But you don't want to forget some other places too. So like this is my email signature. So right in my email signature, I have the ability for people, hey, P.S., you want to learn how blog marketing can be easy, lucrative, and fun? Download my free ebook, and it goes right to a landing page. Also, I wanted to point out that we have our social connections in our email signature, and then it also pulls in our last blog post. So our last blog post is right there. It's a clickable link. It goes right to the blog post, and the ability for them to opt in is there as well. So we are a blogging company, obviously. We talk about using WordPress as the center of the universe of your social marketing strategy. It still is the best way to go. You put content into WordPress and it automatically syndicates to all those social networks. So as you're building more people liking your pages or Twitter followers or LinkedIn connections, every time you put content into a WordPress site that's connected, it will automatically distribute the content out to those social networks, and that's what creates inbound traffic after you've got all those likes on your page or people that are engaged in the communication with you. Also, obviously, email is a great way to go to be able to continue to stay in touch and drive people back to your website. The other thing, though, is just on our site, like I said, if someone clicks our site and goes to our blog, every page of our blog has our opt-in form on it. It has the link, a call to action link that goes to an opt-in form. So you see it in the top right there where someone can grab that free ebook, and then right when they click it, it pops up this form where they can enter their name and their email address and get instant access to that ebook. So we're constantly driving traffic back to that lead magnet, and that's what generates leads. The last thing I'll show you is on every blog post. Lots of people don't think about this, but at the end of every blog post that you write or you put out there, put a PS line and ask people a question, and then offer your free lead magnet at the bottom of the blog post. If they're already interested in your content and they've taken time to read the content, they likely will be starting to develop enough of a trust relationship that they'll be willing to claim something for free from you. So use your blog post, use that traffic to start to get people into your funnel. So don't forget these two, offline marketing. I'm sorry about the yellow lines, guys. I don't want to clear them because I don't want to stop the presentation. But the offline marketing, so anytime you're out and about, any any advertisements that you put into any magazines, newspapers, anything like that, use your free giveaway as a way to be able to drive the right type of people to your website and or to your landing pages to be able to get those opt-ins. If you go to personal networking events, get some custom cards with your free lead magnet and give those away instead of business cards. Or put business card on one side and put a lead magnet on the opposite side and drive people to your landing page. Because everywhere you're at, if you can open up that conversation, if you can get that person into your sphere of influence and get that drip marketing working and build more connections with them as well. And then also maybe putting a sign at the front desk. I also find this with people, they forget about getting people to actually join their social networks at the point of application or when you take a lead call. Get people to connect with you either on your newsletter or through a Facebook or LinkedIn, some other way to connect with them initially and start adding to those social spheres that way, which will also ramp up your efforts. So the other things, the toolkit you're going to need is email list software, branding, a landing page, a blog works really well to be able to put landing pages on, a Facebook business page you'll need to have as well. You can go to mysmartblog.com/resources. There's a list of a few of those items there. That I recommend. That those are the tools that we actually use, and so you can take a look at those as well. And go ahead, Eric. I'll turn it over to you now, and we can take any live questions if there are some.
All right, folks. Well, guys, thanks to Michael. And again, we're trying to figure out what's going on with the GoToMeeting platform, why the audio difficulties. Michael, let me know in the background if you can hear me all right. As we go through this, we've got a couple of key questions. You guys have been really paying attention. This is probably one of the most interactive webinars we've had to date, where people are engaged and fully participating. Pretty excited by that. So a couple of key questions. One would be, instead of going, more direct consumer interface, one of the questions that somebody asked was, how would you use this type of a strategy to target realtors if you're looking for, business development partnerships?
Awesome question. Awesome question. In fact, it's cool because that's actually right down my lane, right? I mean, that's what we market to as real estate agents and mortgage lenders. So you would actually duplicate the exact strategies we use, but just do it in your local market. So similar, it's exactly the same. There's tons and tons of agents that are on Facebook. That's where we only do advertising on Facebook, just to let you know. We don't run like LinkedIn does have an advertising platform as well, but the only place we actually run paid ads is in Facebook. So we do other marketing that's not paid advertising through LinkedIn and Twitter and other social channels. But my point is this: it's very easy to do. When you use your ad targeting, you actually target the things that agents in your area would like to use. Now, I'm just going to tell you, like, I'll open up the cupboard of what we do. So when we run ads, what we know the people that respond best to our information are people that like things like maximum acceleration. So we target the types of people who like coaching organizations like Maximum Acceleration. Other coaching organizations like Brian Buffini's program, which is the coaching organization I was involved in when I was actively producing. So we target people who already like organizations like that because we know those are the people that are engaged, that are trying to improve their business, that will be responsive to the offers that we're making or the education we're offering. So that's the kind of thing that you would want to do. You'd also want to target your local associations as a way to be able to vet those. And again, you may not be able to get to as large of a potential universe of targets, but that's okay because even with a very small target but very, very focused target demographic, you can run very specific ads and offer very specific calls to action to those people that will resonate with them even if it's a smaller group of folks. So if that makes sense, you take the exact same strategies I'm talking about right now, you just build your customer avatar as who that perfect type of agent or that perfect type of loan officer or any other business professional you want to target is, and then you build your advertising around those specific client avatars that are on the professional level rather than the personal level.
Okay, cool, great question. All right, so there's another question in here that I'd like you to address, Michael, is if the prospect you want is 35 years old and higher income, higher education, I'm assuming that's more of a borrower target strategy as opposed to a realtor or business development partner, but if that's the kind of buyer you want to go after, 35 plus, higher income, higher education, do you think Facebook is the best market?
Man, this is the thing. We get questions like this all the time because people think, hey, well, is this going to apply to me? Believe it or not, Facebook, the statistics, and I have a report in another one of my presentations, an actual study that was done within the last year, and it's literally 60% to 70% penetration in the U.S. in every single age bracket, all the way from 18 to 65 plus. It's 60 to 70% penetration into every single age bracket and every single income demographic, all the way over 6 figures. So it's a very stable. I mean, the level of penetration in all demographics is there, if that makes sense. And because it's such a so massively adopted, I mean, it's become such a standard thing in people's internet or digital life that, again, it's a fantastic place to be able to target. And when you can start to target clients of a certain demographic, like an income demographic like that, you can start thinking outside of the box of as far as how you target them, because you can start thinking about what types of, for instance, let me give you an example. Maybe I would do an ad that would be something like, if I'm trying to target someone, and I'm going to use Chicago again, just because it's in my mind, but maybe I'd be targeting somebody that likes the symphony, or maybe I'd like someone who likes the theater. And I'm not trying to stereotype here. I'm just saying that these are the types of things that you could start to target. You might target high-end other products, people that like Rolex, people that like yachts, people, if you want to get to really high-end stuff, you would start to, when you build your customer demographic in the ad, you actually use targeting options that target the other kinds of things that people like. And that's one of the biggest things people have to get through their mind is, in marketing, you don't, just because you're in the mortgage business doesn't mean you want to market the mortgage business. You want to market something that people that are in your demographic are interested in, or a question that wants to be answered. Clearly, it needs to be relevant to the mortgage industry. But my point is, when you're building your client avatar, don't get down to where I have to find people that are only interested in a move-up loan, right? I mean, you've got to broaden it out and say, what is the type of customer I'm trying to attract, and then what is it that those people would be interested in their own life? And that's what allows you to start to really dial in the targeting and also run ads that are very specific, because, again, the biggest interaction and it may say something about the demographic we're marketing to, but the biggest click-through was on that image of a mansion that said, Christina's got it. It really didn't have anything to do with lead generation, right, or the mortgage industry or real estate industry, but it's 10 times more clicks. And the reason is that image happened to resonate with the type of people that we're looking to target, and it matched up with our targeting demographics. So I hope that that's clear enough in terms of that it really spans every age range, every income demographic, and every ethnic demographic, pretty much across the board, between 60 and 70%.
Awesome. All right, well, Michael, if you would, just as we're kind of going through the final wrap-up on a couple of these questions, remember to go ahead and click back over to where I have mouse control. Folks, thanks again for joining us today, and want to make sure that you are able to, if you want to go ahead and continue to post your questions, there's a couple more things that I want to make sure we have time to share with you here. We are going to go a little bit past the top of the hour here just to make sure you have some information. Okay, so so, all right. So anyway, we're going to be following up, and just there's a couple of different questions that have come through about, how we get access to these materials or resources, or how do we get more information about this type of stuff. Two things. One is that the recording of this program, as well as Michael's free ebook and some other tools and resources that he's going to provide to you, are going to be sent out to you along with the recording of the video within a couple of days. Now, it does take a couple of days for our team to go ahead and do some of the reformatting and rendering that has to be done behind the scenes to be able to post this in a streaming view format like YouTube or whatever. But you can go to that and you can see this on our Max Acceleration YouTube channel, mxlcoach.com, or MXL Coaches. If you search MXL Coach on YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinar series on that channel as well. But like I said, within 24 to 48 hours, anybody who's registered for this program is automatically going to receive an email that'll have links to download PowerPoint, links to download the video, or to watch the link to the streaming video of today's program so you can go back through and review. But there's some other things that I wanted to introduce you guys to that Michael has generously agreed to provide for us here as a way of really taking this to the next level. And for those of you who are really serious about moving this type of a marketing or interaction strategy forward, if you really want to embrace the online community, you've got a huge Facebook following both on your personal and business page, and you really want to know how to take these social media connections and actually turn them into something that'll be profitable for you, that will begin to start to engage folks and bring in a flow of leads. We've put together a special training training program called the Monetizing Social Media Interactive Web Shop. Some of you have participated in some of our web shop programs before. Mr. Michael Mayer has done the Boost program in the past. I've done my Double Your Income with Power Partners series before. And so what we've done is Michael has agreed to teach a 4-part web shop series. And this is a hands-on, interactive type environment. We're limiting them to no more than 30 participants at any given time so that it can be interactive. You can get your hands. It's going to be typically it'll be an open mic call as long as we don't have challenges with too much background audio, that kind of thing. Anyway, 4 one-hour sessions starting Wednesday, April 2nd. It will be at noon Central Time, and then do the conversions, so that's what, 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern. A 1-hour program, 4 weeks in a row, 4 Wednesdays in a row. Right at lunchtime, we're going to do kind of a lunch and learn type program here. To walk you through, Michael is going to graciously, take his time to participate in this program for you guys to be able to introduce you to the step-by-step plan to build your first couple of actual e-marketing campaigns. We'll also be contributing some resources from our library of content and providing the maximum acceleration side of the element of some of these communication strategies and some of the other tools that we have available to, from our coaching library to provide along with that. So Michael and I are going to do this program together. Usually these programs typically will run in the neighborhood of $497. This is a new one we are launching. So if you're interested in participating, literally, I know Michael, will do a 1 or 2 day on-site consulting with somebody, and he'll charge $1,500 for that program. So, to be able to get access to this quality of information and really in a small group environment get some hands-on interactive training from one of the best in the business at creating the kind of results that you've seen, you are able to go ahead and participate in this Monetizing Social Media web shop being hosted jointly here between My Smart Blog and Maximum Acceleration. If you want to go ahead and save $200, you can reduce that to $297, literally less than $100 a session for the training and the hands-on guidance step-by-step to walk you through how to create your first ad campaign through using social media that will generate leads, loans, and new business for you. Use discount code MAX in all capital letters to go ahead and take advantage of that. You can go to mysmartblog.com/MSM. mysmartblog.com/MSM, as in My Smart Blog, Monetizing Social Media. On the shopping cart page, just before you go ahead and click the quantity and the next step, you'll want to make sure just below the description of the program is a box for the discount code. You can go ahead and punch in, enter a promo code here and hit the apply button. If you type in MAX in all capital letters here, it will actually reduce the price to $297, and then you can go ahead and fill from there to the second screen, which will be where you enter your information and go from there. If you'd like more information about other programs available by Maximum Acceleration, I'm happy and proud to introduce you to our new shopping cart for all of our trainings, Planning to Win web shop series, the Double Your Income web shop, the Maximum Influence web shop series. We'll be loading, and you'll want to check back frequently, but other programs available on how to help you grow your business you can get to via the Maximum Acceleration website if you go to the shopping tab and click here. For this Monetizing Social Media web shop, however, though, you will need to go to the link that I showed you back before. And Michael, if you wouldn't mind, if you can go ahead and post this link in the Q&A and in the chat box as well for me. This mysmartblog.com/MSM is the link you want to go to go ahead and register for the My Smart Blog program. Other stuff coming up with Maximum Acceleration, like I said, you want to make sure you check back frequently with the website. We do have some great stuff going on over the next couple of weeks. I apologize, Michael, I'm not able to advance the slides here, so if you can go ahead and hop me up.
I was trying to enter it into the chat box real quick.
Well, maybe Christy can post it for us if she's listening on, so that I can go, so we can go ahead. Anyway, if you would go ahead and jump to the slide that is the about the. Go ahead and skip on over to the strategy session slide.
Okay. Yep.
A couple more here.
Oops,
all right. Otherwise, back one, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, great. So guys, if you're interested in finding out more about the one-on-one coaching program, the group coaching programs, or the small group facilitation live events and corporate events that we do at Maximum Acceleration, our primary purpose, focus, and goal is getting you from where you are to where you want to be as fast as humanly possible. After almost 10 years of doing coaching, one-on-one, and small group training events, we've developed a massive library of content and tools, resources, and strategies to help you really optimize your growth curve and really reach those higher levels of performance in a much, much shorter period of time through all the different programs that we offer. So if you're interested in finding out more about getting some accountability, getting the outside perspective, guidance, and support of a professional, full-time, dedicated coach who's working with you side by side to help you take your business to the next level, we encourage you to take advantage of what we call our strategy session, which is a no-cost, no-obligation service, one-hour session, one-on-one session with one of our professional coaching team that they will work with you to talk, and through that experience, that strategy session, you'll leave with a complete action plan to handle your biggest challenge, and over the course of it, you'll also talk a little bit about the coaching process, how it works, and whether it's a benefit to you now or in the future. Of course, there is no cost or obligation for the service. Simply the best way we've found to help you understand the value of coaching is to actually let you experience it. And then your coach will work with you at that time to determine if it is a good fit for you. And our programs are not for everybody. They are really dedicated or designed for people who are really looking to pursue a higher level in a much shorter period of time. Especially looking at today's attendance roster, we have several existing and former Maximum Acceleration clients participating in our events today. And I'm sure if you asked any of them, they would tell you it's probably the best investment they've made in their career. So if you'd like to look at how to take advantage of that, you get two options. One is you can go to our mxlcoach.com/strategy and register. Of course, make sure you give us an accurate email address and phone number so our team can reach out to you to schedule that webinar or that one-on-one appointment with one of our coaching staff. Otherwise, you're also welcome to go ahead and post in the Q&A section of this webinar platform that you're interested in one of those strategy sessions, and go ahead and, like I said, make sure you give us the best phone number and email for our scheduling team to be able to reach you so that we can go ahead and schedule this appointment for you. There are only a handful of them available each week, so we want to make sure that, and they are typically filled on a first-come, first-served basis. As we said with the coaching staff, it's based on their time availability and what we can do to try and get things working for you. So go ahead and post in the Q&A at this time, if you would, that you're in one of those strategy sessions, and give us the best phone number and email for our team to reach you for scheduling purposes. Otherwise, the last thing that we always share in our webinar platform is, and in these programs, you've often heard me do this before, but you've invested an hour of your time to get some of this information, knowledge, and learning, and the worst thing you could do is stop here. If you take 2 more minutes, the most practical and most effective thing you can do to make sure that those ideas transfer into new ways of implementing ideas, I want you to take 2 more minutes before you answer that next email or respond to that next phone call or voicemail, and just take some time to make sure that you start taking action with some of the great ideas that you've been exposed to, because ideas without action are useless, right? I don't care how great or how powerful a concept is, and Michael's giving you some really great nuggets today that could revolutionize the way you think about online marketing, but they're useless if you don't do anything with them, right? So first question you got to ask yourself is, what's the most valuable thing you've heard in this program? What's the one idea that you want to implement first? You'll have the recording and material follow-up that you can come back to later to pick up the next concepts further down, but what's the one most powerful idea you want to make sure you implement right away? Maybe it is going ahead and making the investment to participate in the web shop, having Michael and I walk you through step-by-step how to build that most effective campaign for you and your business, and how to start generating a high volume of leads online through your social media networks. The second step is then deciding what is the very next action you need to take to get that activity up and running in your business on a daily basis. And so what is the very next step? What action must you take to make that a part of your daily business? Third step is put a timeline on it. Put a deadline for yourself. Make a promise by when you're going to complete that particular action. So what's your target date? And the last thing is, who are you going to ask to hold you accountable? It's so easy to break the promises we make to ourselves. It's so much more difficult to break the promises we make to somebody we know, like, or trust. So decide who it is that's going to be your accountability partner. I mean, the Brigham Young study in 1993, Brigham Young University did a research study about ideas to action, and they found out there were 3 keys to following through on implementation. One is you had to have a specific plan to to implement an idea. 2 is you needed to have a deadline for that plan. And number 3 is you needed to tell somebody about that deadline and plan and ask them to follow up and hold you accountable to the completion of it. I mean, think about it this way. It's kind of what I call the running buddy concept, right? Imagine I decide I want to lose some weight, New Year's resolution kind of thing. So I start out, January 2nd, not 1st. January 2nd, I go out and jog, and I push it farther than I should. January 3rd, I go out and jog, and I barely make it a mile. And January 4th, I go out and jog, and I barely make it around the block. And January 5th rolls around, and I'm exhausted, and I'm tired, and it's cold and wet and nasty outside, and I just roll over, hit the snooze button, and never go jogging again. But how different would that be if at the New Year's party a neighbor said, that's a great idea. Why don't we go jogging together? Same story, we push it too far the first day, we're exhausted, we don't make it hardly the 3rd day. 4th day rolls around, and I'm tired, I'm exhausted, every muscle in my body aches, but I know my buddy's going to be on my doorstep at 5:30 in the morning to go jogging. So more than likely, I get up and go. Think about the power of that accountability. Think about the promises that you've made to other people before and how important it was to the follow-through and completion. So when we're talking about using this strategy of taking advantage of this monetizing social media web shop, hey, Michael, can you go ahead and mute your mic? We're getting a lot of echo here.
Sure.
Appreciate that. Sorry about that. But anyway, guys, if you would go ahead and take advantage of this opportunity and take some ideas and strategies from what you've heard or been exposed to today and begin to actually implement them. And if you need help finding an accountability partner, that could be a great way to spend one of those strategy sessions. So if you're interested in taking advantage of the strategy session, feel free to go ahead and post your request in the Q&A. Let us know you'd like the strategy session, and go ahead and post the best phone number and email address to be able to take advantage of that. And then, Michael, if you can go ahead and back up to the screen that is the information about the monetizing social media web shop slide. Great. Thank you. Guys, like I said, it's rare that you have an opportunity to learn from a true expert in a small group hands-on environment. Like I said, this is in an open mic webinar platform. It's really going to be a group training session that Michael and I are going to walk you through step-by-step how to build this stuff. There'll be a lot of demonstration, a lot of tools and resource material sharing, a lot of question and answer to make sure that you're following through on implementing this idea. Is probably one of the best investments you could make at starting to look at how to monetize your social media that I've seen. And part of the reason I asked Michael to do this for our audience here is because this is one of the most requested training pieces that we get. And so we're very much looking forward to the incredibly powerful ideas. I mean, think about your return on investment. You invest $297 for a 4-week training program, over 4.5 hours of content, a lot of tools and material resources you're going to get access to along with that training program. I mean, you do one additional loan, you're at about a 5 times return on your investment based on most average loan officer commissions in our industry. I mean, and you'd have that skill, knowledge, and ability to use hundreds of times over from that point forward in your life. Can you really think of any better investment to make in how to expand your network and take advantage of this plethora of resources and opportunities, particularly in a purchase market? I mean, what's the #1 request you hear from realtors when it comes to approaching them? Well, help me get more business. Well, what if you could now not only do it for them and provide them some additional leads because you're actively and effectively engaging potential home buyers through your social media networks, but now you're also being able to turn around and teach that to a potential new realtor or business development partner. Now all of a sudden you catapult yourself beyond everybody else who's just talking about rate and fee and great service, right? Now you've so far gone beyond the vendor role with agent as one of the best options. So like I said, if you are interested, go ahead and go to www.mysmartblog.com/MSM. That will get you to the registration page that you can see on the next screen. Michael, if you can go ahead and advance for me here. Oh, I think it'll actually let me do it. When you get the shopping cart, type in the discount code MAX in the enter promo code box, hit the apply button, and that will allow you to go ahead and register for as little as $297 to go ahead and participate in this program. All right, last step, guys. We're going to go ahead and leave it here for the time being. Just like I said, I want to encourage you to, and I want to applaud you for taking the initiative to participate in today's program, investing your time in the kind of training and development that we provide here at the Maximum Acceleration Webinar Series, Maximum Performance Webinar. If there's anything my team or I can do to help or empower your ability to reach a significantly higher level in a much shorter period of time, please don't hesitate to ask and reach out to us through the Q&A. We're going to be interacting for the next couple of minutes here, just with following up with some of the questions that are in the Q&A and responding to some of the concerns of some of the folks that are still on the webinar with us today. And then we'll kind of go to the next level there. So, like I said, we're going to leave this platform open for just a few more minutes, but we will be looking to address some of your questions and concerns. From an audio perspective, I'm going to hop off of here and go ahead and close out the webinar. But again, I want to thank you and applaud you for attending. The best investment you can make is in your own skill and ability to produce income, and that's what this series and programming is all about. Look forward to seeing you all on future events in the series, and we will definitely go from there. To the extent there's anything that my team or I can do to help or support you in other ways, please do not hesitate to ask. Reach out to us either via email or through the Q&A platform right here in the webinar. Otherwise, if you have any additional questions about the content or the topic of the subject matter of today's programming, please feel free to go ahead and post those questions in the Q&A at this time. Like I said, thank you and I applaud you all for taking time and initiative to join us in today's program. I am going to go ahead and hop off here from an audio perspective and start taking care of a couple of things in the background before my next coaching session hops in on me, but we'll be going from there. All right.